welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna do how to do makeup on a client video, and for my model I have my sister here. I'm gonna treat her exactly like a client, so I get the full treatment. She gets the full treatment. So for her makeup, I wanted to keep it like the natural glam. You can really do this for anyone. It's gonna look good on anybody. Also, if you'd like, I can film a video on how to do makeup on someone with severe acne or acne scars. We got it. Yeah. So comment down below if you guys would be interested, and give it a big thumbs up so I know that you guys do want to see it. And that being said, I'm just gonna show you guys how I do my sister's makeup for any occasion, and it's gonna look good on anybody. So let's get started. So my client has oily skin, so I'm using the Makeup Forever Mattifying Primer just in her T-zone, just so that throughout the day her oils don't get, her skin doesn't get oily. Anytime that you use your fingers on your client, you have to make sure that you sanitize and wash your hands so that your hands are not dirty, that everything is clean, and that you're not spreading bacteria. Now I'm going in with another primer. This is Makeup Forever HD High Definition Primer, and this is more for hydration to your skin. She is mostly oily on her T-zone, so I'm just applying a hydrating primer the rest of her face. And for this kind of primer, I am using a brush because it's more liquidy and it can blend a lot easier into the skin. Now we're just going to leave the skin alone for a couple minutes and just move on to the eyes, just to prep the eyes for eyeshadow. And I'm grabbing my Painterly Paint Pot by MAC. I use this on all my clients. I love this product. It just does a great job with covering up any discoloration on the eyelids. It preps the eyeshadow, and it really makes the eyeshadows a lot more vibrant when you're applying them. Grabbing my Anastasia Pro Brow Palette, I think that's what it's called, but I'm just mix and matching all the shades in the palette, just creating the perfect one for my sister. I really wanted it to be a very natural brow, so I'm just filling in the sparse areas that she may have and just making it appear a lot more fuller. I'm not going to carve or anything like that unless it's needed, but it isn't needed for this person, which is my sister. So I'm just lightly filling in with some eyebrow powder and just making them a lot more fuller. Moving on to foundation, I love this foundation for my clients. It photographs beautifully, and this is the Makeup Forever foundation. I'm mixing the shades 128 and 117 and applying that to her face with my Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. I love using sponges to apply my makeup for clients because I feel like it looks a lot more natural, doesn't look cakey, and I just love this applying foundation this way. I also use the cheapy sponges from the drugstore as well that you can use too. You don't have to use Real Techniques. So I'm just going in circular motions and just patting all around her face, just making sure that there is no like harsh lines or anything like that, and everything blends in beautifully. Taking my MAC Prolong Wear concealers, I love to use these under the eyes as well as highlighting on the face. So I'm just taking my Sigma Precision brush from that set, and I'm just patting that under her eyes and then taking it in her inner corner because that's where a lot of darkness is. And then I'm also going to drag it right under her lash line because a lot of people tend to have darkness there. It's very common. So you really want to just conceal that. And then I'm also going to take the concealer on her forehead and then down the bridge of her nose just for some extra highlighting, and then on her chin and the corners of her mouth because I really want these areas to be light and lifted. Now I'm taking that foundation sponge again. You can use a smaller brush for this or just something small like anything, to be honest. You can use anything. You can use a brush or a sponge to blend this out. I just like to use the sponge because it soaks up any excess concealer and really hydrates under the eyes. So I'm just patting under the eyes, and then any areas that didn't get near the inner corners, I just take a Real Techniques brush. I forgot what this one is called, but I love to like it's like a detail brush or something, and it just really gets in the inner corners and the lash line without having the client like be squinting so much from that big sponge. So I love to use that as well. Then I'm going with my RCMA highlight and contour palette, and I'm just taking that first dark shade, and I'm just going to use this to contour. And doing this is gonna really help the bronzing process last a lot longer throughout the day. And I'm just contouring just the perimeter of her face and carving out those cheekbones. I'm also using one of the brushes from the Sigma Precision set. I like to use these to highlight and contour with. And then I'm just quickly going to contour her nose. I am still learning how to contour noses. I'm not professional at it, but practice makes perfect. So you gotta start from somewhere, right? So I'm not like going highly like over contouring. I'm just adding some color and dimension to her nose. Taking my Real Techniques buffing brush, I'm just going to buff out that contour in circular motions so there aren't any harsh lines and everything just blends really nicely with the skin. So I always start off with the forehead and then go on to the cheekbones and then the jawline. And as you can see, I'm blending my contour upwards, never downwards, because that is really what is going to give her that contoured look if you just blend upwards. If you blend it downwards, it's going to look too muddy, and there's going to be no point in contouring because it's not going to be a contour. So as you can see, that I love that highlighting palette because it just looks so natural on the skin. After applying concealer, I like to set with a loose powder. So this is one by Mercier, and I always blend out the concealer first before applying the powder because I do not want any creasing. So I always ask the client to look up while I'm setting, just so they don't look down and then it starts creasing again. So I'm having my client looking up, and then I'm just applying the powder, just packing it on with this sponge I got from like the dollar store. These are really nice for the term baking because it really packs on the color and the powder. I mean, it packs on the powder and it just looks really nice. And I'm just going to let this powder sit for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to just brush it off with a brush, and then you will see it just kind of highlights the face and sets the makeup. Now I'm just taking the Real Techniques setting brush and just brushing off all that excess powder that is sitting onto the skin, and as you can see, it's just really leaving a nice highlighted appearance, and it really just sets that makeup. If you guys do this step, it is guaranteed that your makeup will last just way more longer. Like, trust me, this step is really important, especially for your clients. Then I'm just going in with that powder again and just setting the rest of the face makeup. And then moving on to eyes, I'm just grabbing Soft Brown by MAC, and I'm just having my sister look down so I can see her natural creases. I don't have them close their eyes. I just like them to look down, so when they're looking down, when they have their makeup done, you can really see like how the makeup will look throughout the day. So you can really see the natural creases. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just buffing Soft Brown all over the crease and then blending it out with my Sigma E35 brush and just making sure there's no harsh lines. Now I'm going in with a Makeup Geek Pigment in Afterglow, and I'm going to wet my brush and just apply that onto her lid. This is just going to give a beautiful, nice, sparkly sheen all over her eyes. It's not going to be too much, and it's just not going to be like too little. It's just going to give a little bit of extra something. And I like to use this wet because it makes it a lot more pigmented and metallic. And I'm just brushing off any fallout that might have fallen on her face, and I am just doing the same to the other eye. You can keep on applying this and packing this on. I'm just gonna do like 2 layers of this just because I got the intensity that I wanted, but feel free to apply as much as you want. And then after that pigment dries, I'm just going to buff the edges. And then going in with my Lorac Pro palette, I'm taking Sable and my Sigma E25 brush, and I'm just gonna have her close her eyes, and then I'm just kind of taking this color into her lash line, outer V, and just really buffing in circular motions. This is going to be like the color that really makes the look like have that dark outer corner, so you really just want to be careful with this step and make sure everything is beautifully blended. Now I'm just going to tightline her lashes, and I'm using Corrupt by Makeup Geek and just applying that into her lash line just for a subtle definition. I'm not going to use eyeliner, I just want to use this just for something a lot more softer. I'm also going to be dragging out the shadow into a little mini wing just to extend her eye a little bit more. And I'm just taking a Morphe angled brush and just having her look straight out, and then drawing my wing and then having her close her eye, and then I can drag that wing into her lash line. So as you can see, I'm just doing this in very small strokes and just having her open and close her eyes just so I can see if I'm doing it the right way. And then I'm having her look down to her side so I can get that inner corner as well. Now I'm taking my NYX jumbo eye pencil in Milk, and I'm just going to apply this to her waterline. Just have your clients look up and away so their eyes don't get so watery eyed, and just have them blink a couple times. And then taking soft brown, I'm just applying that to her lower lash line, and then taking a black shadow and that angle brush that we used for the wing, I'm also going to just tightline her lower lash line just to make it seem like her lashes are a lot more fuller. Sister loves a super bright inner corner, so I'm just taking Nylon and placing that into her inner corners, and then just really blending that out so there's no harsh lines. And then grabbing Shroom, it's a lot more subtle, and I'm just applying this to her brow bone just for something extra. And then taking a waterproof mascara and using a disposable mascara wand, I'm just applying this to her lashes, and I'm just using one coat. And then for falsies, I'm just going to use the Ardell individuals in medium black, and I'm just placing these onto her eyes. You just want to go one by one and just set them on there. My sister just really likes to use individuals because they're a lot lighter on and they're a lot more comfortable, but I sometimes love to use demi wispies, any brand, on my clients. They're strip lashes and they complement many eye shapes, so I like to use those for my clients. And I'm just going in with another layer of mascara to her lashes, and then going in with the Anastasia contour kit. I'm just mixing those two bronzing shades and just starting to bronze the perimeter of her face in circular motions. And with this step, you really have to make sure the bronzer is nicely blended, because nothing is worse than having like super patchy bronzer. And I'm taking MAC Warm Soul Blush. This looks good on so many people, so I love to use this on my clients. And I'm just applying this to the apples of her cheeks and then just blending it out with my Real Techniques multitask brush just so everything blends great together. Then taking my Becca Moonstone highlighter, I'm just applying this to the top of her cheekbones, patting the highlighter in and then swiping any excess. Cheekbones and then her temples. And then for the lips, I'm going to line with MAC Stripdown lip pencil. And then I'm just taking my finger and just blending out that liner so there aren't any harsh lines. And then taking the Anastasia liquid lipstick in Pure Hollywood. I don't know why mine is separating, but I love the color. It's like the perfect nude. And I'm just applying this on her lips with a lip disposable wand. I like to use these for my lip glosses and liquid lipsticks because it just makes it a lot easier applying. And then topping it off, I'm taking my Buxom lip gloss in White Russian, and I'm just going to apply this to her lips just to give a little bit of extra color and shine. And then I'm just going to set her makeup with the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, and you are finished. Like for
I'm using my sister as a model.
Oh yeah. So I am using pretend you're my client, so I can't slap when you're misbehaving.
Say,
Okay,
my sister's a model.
Someone's makeup, like how you should be touching them and all that. The face again. So comment one with cystic acne. Okay. Also, if you guys want, I can do like it with acne, just so you guys can get some tips and tricks from me on how I do someone's makeup with acne. I'm like repeating
what
this.
What the fuck? I thought it just.
If you guys are curious, punch me right now. Oh my god. I'm just kidding. Ooh, it's getting hot in here. If you guys want to. Stop. Stop. I have to
What do you mean stop? I'm not doing anything. Breathe.
Breathe.
Spit it out.
Get off the chair. Let me sit there.
What do you want me to do? Stand next to you?
No,
You're overthinking it.
I overthink.
Just do simple.